Welcome to An Accidental Vagabond, where we explore the mosaic of our unexpected journeys. This is the U.S.A. Road Trippers series. Welcome to Day 13, the Ohio to New York portion of the trip. If you are interested in seeing any of the other videos, check the links in the description, like, subscribe, and comment for more content. Today's journey began at Geneva Park campsite in Ohio and ended at the Shadow Hills Farm in North Argyle, New York. Lake Erie. Lake Erie is the fourth largest lake of the 5 Great Lakes in North America, and it is the 11th largest lake in the world. When you stand at the shore of Lake Erie and look out at it, it appears as if you are looking out to sea. Geneva State Park was really nice, and apparently they have a 600-foot sandy beach where you can go to swim, but unfortunately we only had one night and were not able to visit the beach or anything really. But at least we did get to go see Lake Erie. We drove through the town of Geneva on Highway 534 and headed south until we reached Interstate 90 heading east. Now, a few facts about Ohio. Ohio is the Buckeye State. Its capital is Columbus. The highest point is Campbell Hill at 1,550 feet, or at 472 meters. And the largest city is Columbus. Geneva State Park was about 45 minutes to an hour from the Pennsylvania border, so it didn't take us long to get to the Pennsylvania state line. Pennsylvania. Woo! The Keystone State. Capital is Harrisburg, and the largest city is Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, and the highest point is Mount Davis at 3,213 feet, or 979 meters. We drove on Interstate 90 all the way through Pennsylvania until we reached New York. We only passed through the northwestern chunk of Pennsylvania, the part that kind of sticks out like a hat between Ohio and New York City. We grazed the city of Erie as we continued on east to New York. Pennsylvania had all of these beautiful flowers on the side of the highway in these bright, bold colors of magenta and peach and crimson. And out of all of the highways and interstates we drove, only I-90 in Pennsylvania had flowers like these. New York! Woo! Once we crossed into New York, we took a detour into Westfield for a quick rest stop. There we discovered this cool lighthouse called the Barcelona. It was the first natural gas lighthouse in the world. It was completed in 1829. And this lighthouse is now listed on the U.S. National Register of Historical Places. New York's nickname is the Empire State. Its capital is Albany, and its highest point is Mount Marcy at 5,344 feet, or 1,629 meters. And its largest city is, of course, New York City. Interstate 90 took us past the city of Buffalo and then further on to the city of Amherst, which we passed through, headed towards the direction of Niagara Falls until we curved eastward again back onto I-90. So I'm going to stop chatting for a bit and just turn the volume of the music up a little and let you just look at upstate New York for a bit. Take in all that green, because most of us, we only get a view of New York City and don't even imagine that upstate New York has so much farmland and so much space and so many smaller sized towns, cities, and townships. This is what I imagined New York.
I think my New York cousin's house.
So these mountains are part of the Appalachian system.
I made it to the other coast.
Well, it's not the coast yet, love. We still have 2 more days of driving. Really. We drove on the outskirts of Syracuse and Utica, and then eventually we came to the city of Amsterdam. We passed through Amsterdam, and it was in Amsterdam where we eventually turned onto Highway 67 heading north. We drove on Highway 67 for a bit, and then we caught Interstate 87 and passed Saratoga Springs. Now, these cities and places like Syracuse, Utica, Amsterdam, these are places and names of cities that I've heard about in movies and novels that take place in upstate New York. But as I'd mentioned earlier, I've never seen this part of New York State before. From being from the West Coast, New York has always just been New York City. But there's a whole state that is filled with many different interesting places and plant life, animals, and people doing things at a slower pace than they do in New York City. As we continued driving, the landscape changed, seeing more and more of the mountains, the Adirondacks in the distance. And then we turned onto 197 at a place called Gum Spring, somewhere near Saratoga Springs. We stopped in a small, once prosperous-looking, but now somewhat crumbling town of Fort Edward before getting back onto 197. We took 197 to a tiny town of North Argyle, and this is where we stopped for the night at a place called Shadow Hill Farms. And that's all for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed our journey from Ohio to New York. Like and subscribe for more content.